Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 98 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet whose ape-descended life forms are so amazingly primitive that they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea.
Good God! This log is impossible. Now how the heck am I supposed to write on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I mean, all it is two guys, a manically depressed robot, and some random Earth chick farting around for about 20 chapters, and, well, somehow a giant sperm whale gets thrown into existence. I don't know. It's completely absurd.
This planet has, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much of the time. And then, one Thursday, nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how great it would be to be nice to people for a change, a girl sitting on her own in her living room in Poway suddenly realized what it was that had been going wrong all this time, and she finally knew how the world could be made a good and happy place. This time it was right, it would work, and no one would have to get nailed to anything. Sadly, however, the moment she came up with this idea, she was busy at the moment writing a log, and the idea was lost forever. This is her story.
Why are there British people talking? I must be hearing things. Man, this log is taking too much out of me. I'm going for a walk.
I'm going for a walk. Not the other dinner time.
Okay, so Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Let's see. We've got Arthur Dent, a completely hapless and silly individual. You got his best friend, who's actually an alien, Ford Prefect. You got the ex-president of the galaxy, Zaphod Beeblebrox, and some chick named Trisha or Trillion or whatever, and some depressed robot named Marvin. And they're all on a journey to find a dead planet called Magrathea for absolutely no reason. I've had concussion dreams more coherent than this. This makes no sense. It's absolutely absurd. Okay, British voice, what have you got for me? Figures.
Poway is mind-bogglingly big. So big, in fact, that the chance of a light blue Honda Odyssey coming speeding down the road without anyone driving it within the next 30 seconds are 2 to the power of 276,709 to 1 against. By a staggering coincidence, that is also the telephone number of a friend of our own hapless individual who just so happened to have the greatest idea for her log. Unfortunately, our hapless individual was struck cold by the sheer improbability of the situation and failed to answer his cell phone. Now, our hapless individual did not quite know the reason the car had mysteriously appeared in front of her with no driver of which to speak. This was because Reason was in fact out to lunch.
Nah, that's impossible. This car couldn't have driven itself.
Not impossible, my friend, just very improbable.
Well, yeah, but that was... Hey, wait a minute. This is one of those things that was a running theme in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Improbability, of course. The whale materializing above Magrathea, Ford turning into a penguin. I mean, those things were pretty absurd, but they weren't exactly impossible because they happened, right? All those extreme examples of meaningless? That's exactly what it is. Well, how does Douglas Adams get the whole improbability thing across? I mean, there has to be something. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy isn't that silly. So what have you got for me, British voice?
Think about what you are doing at this very moment.
Well, I'm sitting here in a car that materialized out of nowhere without a driver while searching for something to write for my next log. Now that I think about it, Arthur Dent was kind of doing the same thing, wasn't he? He was out searching for a reason why the Earth was destroyed, and I'm out searching for a reason why I can't write anything.
And placing those meaningless events alongside a struggle of reason makes the lack of reason stand out. Characters are constantly trying to explain the sense of actions, or, in your case, lack of writing views, ignoring the chaos around them.
So, what do I do next?
Use the improbability drive, of course.
What?
The infinite improbability drive uses improbability as a means of transportation. Any destination or mode of transportation is possible, you see.
Okay, let me get this straight. By your logic, pressing that button would have just as much probability of sending me where I need to go as making me get out of the car, dance awkwardly for a few seconds, and then run to my destination, cue to epic music?
Yes. It is infinite improbability, after all.
What the heck? Here goes.
Popping bottles in the ice, like a blizzard. When we drink, we do it right. Getting slizzard, sipping scissor. Am I right? Like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6.
Okay. Let me get this straight, boys. So 1 minute, I'm somewhere dancing and running epically like in Chariots of Fire, and the next, I've teleported here in my car. Okay, why did the improbability drive bring me here, anyways?
It sent you in your car flipping across every point of existence at once, and improbably dropped you here a quarter of a mile from where you started.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But it still sounds pretty impossible.
Not impossible, my friend. Just very improbable.
Yeah. Just like the book. I know. Okay, so why am I here?
To make reason out of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay, I get that. So, I get how Adams uses the whole silly situations to get the whole absurdity thing across, but there's got to be some other theme that he's talking about, some other nuance of society he wants to get across to us. What is there?
Your towel.
My what?
You forgot your towel in the trunk. A towel is about the most massively useful thing an interstellar hitchhiker can have. You can wrap it around you. You can lie on it. You can sleep under it beneath the stars. You can use it in hand-to-hand combat. You can wave your towel around in emergencies as a distress signal. And of course, dry yourself off with it.
Okay. Alright. I'll take your word for it. You are British, after all. Oh, nice towel. Oh, jeez, a mouse. Oh, God. Ugh. No way am I washing my face with this thing now.
Actually, you should be proud to find the most intelligent creature on Earth nesting in your towel.
Really, boys? I mean, gotta do some research here. A lot of people on Earth think a lot of things are smarter than mice.
Who then?
Well, I don't know, the president, for example?
The president in particular is very much of a figurehead. He wields no real power whatsoever. His job is not to wield power, but to draw attention away from it.
So by your logic, Donald Trump would make a rather good president then. Oh, gee, Adams, that's some tough political slander you got going there. Well, now that I think about it, that's another thing in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Mixing the small and mundane with the vast and distant. Well, it makes sense. On the one hand, you've got the president, the symbol of the free world, and his actual power is next to nothing. And on the other hand, you've got the people who wield the most power of anyone in America, and they barely make the morning news. And you've got the man whose house is going to be demolished to make way for a bypass, and you're contrasting it with the Vogons who want to destroy the entire Earth to make a way for a hyperspace expressway. It's perfect. And then you've got the mice. You've got the mice who are the most intelligent creatures on the planet, but they're so small that you wouldn't think that. I mean, they're rather easily stepped on, don't you think?
And you say you have nothing to write about at all.
Great. I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go get a drink.
One of the best drinks in existence is the pan-galactic gargleblaster. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy says that the effect of drinking a pan-galactic gargleblaster is like having your brain smashed out by a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick. The probability that this drink has of sending you into an early death is approximately 6 to the power of 328,404 to 1 against. Which was, ironically, the phone number of the hospital that our hapless individual happened to butt dial with her cell phone as she fell to the floor. Sadly though, this hospital was located in Siberia, and they were quite unable to respond fast enough.
Did I die?
Yes, you did indeed. However, due to a random spell of improbability, you were somehow brought back to life by the graphing calculator next to your head.
Huh, what's this? What? 42? What's 42? The answer to what? I know the answer. How am I supposed to find out the question? Alright, that's it. I've had enough of you. Wait a minute. It's just like the paper knife in John Paul Sartre's No Exit. Yeah. See, the knife came into existence because things needed cutting. Its purpose for existing came before its actual existence. Humans, on the other hand, are the other way around. We come into this world knowing that we exist, but not knowing our purpose for existence. It's a very existentialist idea, and hey, that's just like the number 42. I know the number 42 exists, but I don't know the reason for its existence. Hey, I'm on a roll here. So, British voice, when was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy written?
All the way back in 1978. Still, not as far back as the era of existentialism, but the notion of existence preceding essence, with the number 42, is still there. Not to mention the notion of the absurd.
Yeah, that's true. But why couldn't I have been stuck in some other book to reenact?
It was then that our hapless individual began to stroke her pet cat like a Bond villain, and reflect on all the other books she had read over the year. Edgar Allan Poe's poetry, while she found it to be rather funny and rather absurd at the same time, was often very gruesome and depressing, a place our hapless individual would not like to be at the moment. Robinson Crusoe and Life of Pi, on the other hand, were very good books in her opinion, although, let's face it, she hates sailing and cannot swim to save her life. Therefore she couldn't really relate to both books, and at times she found them rather boring and tedious, as being stranded on a desert island for 20-odd years would most likely be. And although she liked the messages in the book Disgrace very, very much, she did not have the book on hand. Therefore she concluded that because of its simple language and yet whimsical writing, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was in fact the best book she has read this year, and therefore the best book to be stuck in at the moment. It was then that she decided to go back to writing her log.
It's time to burn this log.